My child, a day, my child, and resolved to this mond will shifted. What comes next? You may think these are simply more words among countless voices you've heard before, yet something deep within you already recognizes that this moment carries a different weight. I am speaking to you because I see what remains hidden from your eyes, and I know what is unfolding around you even now. Listen carefully, because this warning comes from my love, and I do not give it without purpose. Stay with me. Do not let your thoughts drift away, because what I am about to tell you is connected to the protection and direction you have been asking me to provide. I am not speaking from somewhere far away, and I am not remaining silent while you search for answers. I am speaking with urgency because your life is moving forward, and time is not standing still. Something is taking shape ahead of you, something that could bring deep pain if you walk into it without seeing it for what it is. Hear my heart in this. I am not speaking to fill you with fear. I am speaking because I desire to guard you, and sometimes love must speak plainly when the stakes are this great. There have been quiet moments when I tried to slow your steps. The gentle hesitation you felt, the small uneasiness you struggled to explain, the moments when something inside you whispered that something was wrong. Those were not empty feelings. That was my hand reaching toward you, gently drawing you away from what could wound you. Yet you kept telling yourself it would pass, convincing yourself you would deal with it later. And now that later has arrived, stay with me for a moment, because what you understand here could spare you from a regret that might otherwise remain with you for years. I have spoken softly before. I have waited with patience, and I have whispered to your heart more times than you know. But a father who sees his child walking toward the edge of a cliff does not continue whispering. He raises his voice because love refuses to remain silent while danger draws near. That is why my words carry such urgency today. I am pressing through every distraction, competing for your attention, because you matter too much for me to remain quiet. You are standing at a turning point, and your next step carries greater significance than you realize. Decisions made in moments like this can open the way to peace or lead you into hardship that was never intended for you. I am not asking you to become perfect before you listen to me. I am asking you to stay awake, to become attentive to my leading. You have carried heavy burdens for a long time without telling anyone, yet true strength also knows when to stop striving, become still, and receive direction. This is that moment. If these words are reaching your heart, respond to me now. Say Amen if you believe I am speaking to you. I know the fears you rarely put into words. I know the thoughts that return when the room grows quiet at night, and I know the weight of uncertainty that rests inside your heart. You have tried to push it aside, yet it continues returning because it is connected to something that truly needs your attention. I have never been distant from your struggle. I am with you in the middle of it, closer than your own heartbeat, guiding each step you take. You are not walking through this alone, even when it feels as though no one around you understands the burden you carry. What lies ahead has not come to destroy you, but it will test you if you face it without preparation. That is why I am speaking so clearly now. When light reaches what was hidden, you gain the ability to answer wisely instead of reacting out of fear. I placed strength within you long ago, and now I am calling you to use it with wisdom. There are people around you, situations before you, and decisions waiting for you that deserve careful discernment. Everything that appears attractive was never meant to become part of your journey, and every open door is not the one I have prepared for you. Think about those moments when you hesitated before making a choice. Those pauses were not meaningless. They were my hand resting gently on your shoulder, slowing your steps so your peace would remain protected. Trust that quiet prompting, because it is one of the ways I speak to you. I know how weary you have become. I know you have waited for breakthrough, longed for answers, and hoped for the confusion to finally lift. Receive this with an open heart. Clarity is being placed before you even now, but you must be willing to receive it. Do not hurry past this moment searching for something easier to hear. Sometimes truth feels heavy before it becomes healing, yet my truth always leads you towards safety. You are not being punished, and you have not been abandoned. You are being lovingly guided, even when my words press firmly against your heart, because I care too deeply about your life to remain silent while something this important hangs in the balance. Your life carries a purpose that cannot be lived by anyone else, and I will not watch you stumble without reaching toward you again. There are patterns that have quietly repeated themselves around you. You have noticed them, even if you never spoke about them aloud. More than once you sensed that something was wrong, yet you persuaded yourself it would eventually correct itself without requiring anything from you. My child, hear my truth. Nothing around you will truly change until you begin responding in a different way. That is why I am speaking with greater urgency than before, because this moment cannot be treated like every other warning you have received. I am giving you an opportunity to break the pattern that has been quietly growing around your life, and that opportunity is precious. Many people never slow down long enough to hear my voice, yet you stopped and listened. That is not a coincidence, and it is far more significant than you realize. I interrupted your path because the next steps before you matter too much to be left to chance. Stay here with me for a little longer. Let the noise around you fade until your heart becomes quiet enough to receive what I want to show you. I will reveal the danger, I will show you the way through it, and I will remind you of the strength you have struggled to remember through these difficult seasons. Your strength has never disappeared, and neither have I. Keep listening, because what comes next touches the very prayers you have whispered to me in secret. I want you to understand what I have been shielding you from, so you can see why my warning has carried such weight. There is a pattern that has followed you for longer than you may have realized. It has appeared through different people, different situations, different opportunities, and different decisions, yet its root has always been the same. You have often stepped forward too quickly, placed trust too easily, and agreed before your spirit had finished speaking. This has never been because you were careless. It happened because your heart is sincere and your intentions are good. Yet goodness in your heart does not mean everything around you carries the same heart, and that is where the danger begins. The decision you were preparing to make was never just another ordinary choice. It was a doorway, and behind that doorway stood the same pain you have already known, only wearing a different face. You would have found yourself asking the same questions once again. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do things begin with hope, only to end in loss? I am intervening now to break that cycle, but I ask you to walk with me in it. Do not return to the old way of moving through life, because that is where this pattern keeps finding its beginning. There is also a voice near you that is not spoken with honesty. It may come through someone close to you or through a situation that appears harmless on the surface while hiding something much heavier beneath it. You have already felt those quiet moments when something inside you became uneasy, yet you pushed those feelings aside because you wanted to avoid conflict and preserve peace. Listen carefully, those impressions were not mere suspicion. They were my warnings reaching your heart. You have spent so much energy trying not to upset anyone, trying not to ask difficult questions, and trying not to disappoint the people around you. In doing so, you have allowed certain things to enter your life that should never have crossed the threshold. This is where I am calling you to become stronger, not through anger, but through clarity. You have permission to step back. You have permission to say no. You have permission to wait before giving your agreement. That does not make you unkind. It makes you wise, and wisdom becomes protection when you walk with it. Hold this close to your heart. Every opportunity is not a blessing simply because it arrives looking like one. Some opportunities arrive wrapped in beautiful promises, while quietly carrying consequences that remain hidden until you are already committed. That is why I am telling you not to rush, no matter how urgent something may seem. If something truly comes from me, it will never require you to silence the warning I have placed within your spirit. It will never drive you forward before my peace settles over your heart. I do not lead my children through pressure, and I do not guide them through panic. Whatever forces you to run without peace is not speaking with my voice. Take time to examine what stands before you. Think about the decision you were preparing to make, and the direction your heart had already begun to follow. As you hold it before me, ask yourself what rises within you. Is there peace, or is there an unrelenting tightness, a hurried feeling, or a quiet sense of dread that you have continued explaining away? That difference matters more than appearances, more than human reasoning, and more than the opinions surrounding you. Peace is one of the clearest ways I guide you, and when peace is missing, something deserves your careful attention. I also know what has been driving your hurry. You have looked at your life and compared it to where you expected to be by now, and that distance has convinced you to run. But listen to me carefully. You are not late. The doors I closed were never acts of rejection. They were acts of rescue. Some of the delays you grieved in the darkness were the very things that kept you from a path that would have wounded you. You could not understand that then, but I am helping you see it now. A decision stands before you like a fork in the road. One path appears easier, faster, and more comfortable, offering immediate relief while quietly carrying a cost that would only reveal itself over time. The loss would have entered your life so gradually that you might not have recognized it until it had already taken root. The other path seems slower and less certain, yet it rests on peace that endures and on ground that remains firm beneath your feet. You had begun leaning toward the easier road without seeing what it truly held. And that is why I stepped in front of you when I did. Listen carefully to what I have been protecting you from. The loss I turned you from would not have arrived all at once with a single moment of collapse. It would have entered your life quietly, little by little, slowly draining your peace, your confidence, and your sense of direction, until what was unhealthy began to feel ordinary. One day you would have looked around and realized you were far from where you were meant to stand, unable to understand how you had drifted so far. I stepped in before that journey could begin, because preventing a wound is always kinder than asking you to recover from it. You have rebuilt your life before, and I remember every part of that journey. I watched the strength it required, the burdens you carried in silence, and the long nights you spent trying to find your footing again. I have never forgotten what that season cost you, and I have no desire to see you pay that price again when it can be avoided. That is why this warning comes to you now. Even when you try to leave those painful memories behind, I remember them, and my love refuses to ignore what could spare you from walking that road again. So this is what I ask of you. Slow your pace. Be careful with every yes you give, and examine whatever is trying to hurry you forward. Pay close attention to the voices that speak flattering words while quietly leaving your spirit unsettled. When hesitation rises before a decision, do not mistake it for weakness. Receive it as my hand gently holding you back from an edge you cannot yet see. That quiet pause has protected you far more times than you realize. You are not powerless before what lies ahead. You never have been. The strength I placed within you has not disappeared. It has only been covered by layers of doubt, and I am bringing it back into the light so you can take hold of it again. If you believe this warning comes from my love, respond to me now. Let your amen rise with confidence and faith. Now I want to speak with you about trust, because everything else I have shared with you rests upon it. You say you believe me and that you desire my guidance, but belief that never moves beyond words is like a lamp that holds no oil. Trust becomes real when it asks something of you. It becomes real when you place what you treasure into my hands and choose to leave it there. Abraham discovered my provision only after he climbed the mountain, and Peter learned what faith could hold only after he stepped out of the boat. You have been holding tightly to your life, my child. Your plans, your fears, your security, and your future have all remained clenched in your hands, and I understand why. There were seasons when lack left deep marks on your heart, teaching you to hold tightly because you feared there would never be enough. But hands that remain closed cannot receive what I long to give. Everything I desire to place into your life begins with open hands, and open hands have always been the language of faith. They quietly declare, I believe you are who you say you are. So today I am asking you to demonstrate your trust instead of speaking about it alone. My child, to hear me today. I invite you to hear me today, not because everything around you is shifted, offering it freely as an expression of faith rather than fear. Let it become a seed sown in trust, believing that my provision is greater than your lack. What you release into my hands through faith is never truly lost. It goes ahead of you toward the harvest I am preparing. If you would like to support this work, you may do so through the QR code or the support link provided in the description. Do you remember the widow who came to the temple? Many people gave generously from what they had left over, and their gifts drew attention because of their size. Yet she offered only 2 small coins, and I declared that she had given more than everyone else because her offering came from trust instead of abundance. I have never measured a gift by its amount. I look at what it reveals about the heart that releases it. Her offering declared that she believed I would care for tomorrow, and I faithfully did. Now let us return to the path before you, because there is still more I want you to understand. The danger I warned you about was never greater than you. It only appeared powerful while it remained hidden from your sight. The moment truth brought it into the light, its grip began to weaken. This is why awareness is one of the greatest protections I have given you. A trap that is recognized has already begun to lose its power, because what is exposed to the light cannot continue hiding in darkness. There is something else I want you to release. It has quietly influenced your decisions for longer than you realize. It is the fear of missing out. That fear has persuaded you to say yes when your spirit was asking you to wait. It has convinced you to move quickly because you believed an opportunity would disappear if you paused long enough to pray. Hear me clearly. What I have prepared for you will never be lost because you took time to seek me. My blessings do not expire while you wait before my face. Only counterfeits insist on urgency. Release that fear. For too long it has whispered that wisdom means delay and that delay means loss. But the opposite has always been true. Every time you rushed ahead, you entered seasons that took years to leave behind. Every time you waited on me, the way opened without force or striving. Look honestly at your own story and you will see this pattern already written across it. You are also learning to recognize the difference between what feels urgent and what truly matters. Urgency raises its voice, while what is truly important often speaks in quietness. Urgency demands an answer before the day is over, but what matters most waits patiently in stillness. More often than not, I speak through that gentle whisper rather than through the loudest noise. And those who learn to recognize my voice there are rarely led astray. Elijah did not find me in the wind or in the fire. He found me in the still, quiet voice. There is a reason I am teaching you this now. The season ahead will place decisions before you that appear urgent. Voices will press for immediate answers, and circumstances will tempt you to move before you have discerned my leading. If you do not learn the difference between pressure and my guidance, you will find yourself pulled away from the path, again and again. But if you learn this, and you are learning it even now, you will be able to walk through rooms filled with noise and still recognize only my voice. Before we go any further, I want you to notice what has already begun inside you. The heaviness you carried into this moment has started to lift, and that is not your imagination. It is what happens when truth finds a heart that is willing to receive it. Where clarity is welcomed, confusion begins to lose its place. When faith rises, fear no longer remains seated on the throne of your heart. You came here carrying burdens, yet you will leave lighter, not because everything around you changed in these few moments, but because something within you has. Hold tightly to what I am planting in you today. Do not allow it to scatter the moment the noise of life returns. Remember the seed that falls along the path and is quickly taken away, while the seed planted in good soil takes root and bears fruit. Be that good soil. Guard what I am planting in your heart during this hour. Nourish it through prayer and return to it whenever the world tries to convince you this moment was insignificant. I am not finished with you yet. So far I have shown you the danger standing at the doorway. What comes next is the releasing, the surrender, that will empty your hands so I can place something better within them. This next part will ask more of you, but you are ready now, in a way you were not when this conversation began. Stay with me and do not be afraid of what I ask you to lay down. I've never asked my children to release something simply for the sake of losing it. Whenever I ask them to let go, it is because I am preparing to place something greater in its place. Still, I will not pretend this is easy. There are things in your life that have already reached their end, even though your heart has struggled to accept it. You have continued holding on because they became familiar, not because they remained right for you. Familiarity can resemble safety, yet it can also become a cage whose door has been standing open all along while you continue walking circles inside it. So I ask you to look honestly at what you have been carrying and ask yourself one simple question. Does this still bring my peace into your life? Or am I only holding it because I have carried it for so long? As those words reached you, something specific came to your mind. There is something you have continued trying to repair, hoping it would finally become what you longed for it to be. Yet it has remained unchanged. Beneath every explanation you have given yourself, you already know it no longer agrees with the direction I am leading you. Holding on to it has become part of the obstacle you keep asking me to remove. My child, there are times when the mountain remains because you continue holding it in place yourself. Hear this carefully. Letting go is not failure. Let those words settle deep within your heart. Letting go is wisdom, choosing what is right instead of what merely feels familiar. When you release what I have asked you to release, you are not losing something precious. You are walking in obedience, and obedience always creates room for what I have been preparing to give you. A grain of wheat must fall into the ground before it produces new life. The old garment must be laid aside before the new one can be worn. This has always been the order of my kingdom. I know your heart loves deeply because I created it that way, and I treasure that faithfulness within you. Yet the same heart that remains loyal can sometimes hold on too long to what continues causing pain. You have called that loyalty, and sometimes it truly was. But remaining attached to something broken beyond your ability to restore is no longer loyalty. It becomes delay. Your life is never meant to keep circling the same place year after year. I created you to keep walking forward. Think also about the doors that closed before you, the ones you mourned and continued knocking on long after they had shut. I closed those doors, not to wound you, but to protect you. You asked me why they closed. Heaven seemed silent, and you wondered if I had forgotten you. But I never forgot you. Some of those doors led into places that would have changed you in ways you were never meant to carry. What looked like rejection was my redirection. What felt like silence was my hand standing between you and what your eyes could not yet see. Even now, new doors are opening quietly without announcement. New opportunities, new relationships, and new moments are already being arranged. But you must be standing where I am leading you if you are going to walk through them. You cannot embrace what is new while your arms remain wrapped around what is already past. That is why releasing matters so deeply. It is not about becoming empty. It is about becoming ready. There is one more thing I am asking you to lay down, and this reaches even deeper. It is the old version of yourself that you have continued carrying. Harsh seasons, painful words, and your own memories have placed labels upon you: failure, foolish, too late, never enough. Those names never came from me. I have never called you by them, and it is time for you to stop answering when they are spoken. You are not defined by the person who made those mistakes. You are the one who lived through them and learned from them, and that difference changes everything. When I look at you, I do not see the record of your darkest days. I see the life I created and the person you are becoming. Peter denied me 3 times, yet I still built my church through him. I did not define him by his weakest moment, and I will not define you by yours. So release the guilt you continue paying on a debt I have already forgiven. Again and again you return to it as though you must repay what has already been settled. But when I forgive, I do not leave the account open. As far as the east is from the west, that is how completely I have removed your failures from you. The only hands still holding them are your own. And today I ask you to lay them down. Release the people you have outgrown without bitterness and without unnecessary conflict. Every ending does not require a battle. Some relationships simply reach the end of their season, and you can honor what was good while still continuing forward. You are allowed to love someone without following them where they choose to go. Do not wait until releasing feels comfortable, because that moment may never come. Obedience rarely waits until every feeling agrees. Abraham left his homeland before he knew where he was going, and the fishermen walked away from their nets while those nets were still full. Had they waited for comfort before obeying, they would have remained on the same shore where I first called them. So move while it still asks something of you. That is when obedience carries its greatest weight, and when the ache of letting go rises, and it will rise, do not mistake that pain for proof that you chose the wrong path. You invested your time, your hope, and your heart. The pain you feel is simply the weight of what you invested finally leaving your hands. That ache will not remain forever, but the peace that follows it will. There is a freedom that comes from walking without chains you had grown so accustomed to that you no longer realized you were carrying them. The first morning you awaken in that freedom will tell you more than fear ever could. What fell away at my word was never meant to continue the journey with you, and what I have chosen to remain in your life cannot be taken from your hands by any power on earth. Trust the pruning, my child. A gardener does not cut out of cruelty, but out of love, so the branch can finally bear the fruit it was created to produce. You are that branch, and your season of bearing fruit is closer than you think. Now that your hands are beginning to open, I want to speak to you about your mind, because that is where this battle is first won or lost. The danger I warned you about was never only outside of you. Part of it lived in the thoughts you allowed to remain, and in the feelings you followed without stopping to ask where they came from. Small openings, when left unguarded, eventually become wide gates. I intervened in time to help you close them, and now I want to teach you how to keep them closed. Guard your mind as faithfully as a watchman stands over a city through the night. Not every thought that knocks deserves to be welcomed inside, and not every feeling deserves to sit upon the throne of your heart. Some thoughts arrive sounding like your own voice, yet they were never truly yours. They are echoes from old wounds, seeds of doubt planted by difficult seasons, and fears strengthened by long nights of worry. Learn to stand at the entrance of your mind and ask each thought a simple question. Does this lead me toward peace, or does it lead me toward confusion? If it feeds confusion, turn away from it. I am not asking you to empty your mind. I am asking you to renew it. Fill it with what is true, what is honorable, and what belongs to the life I am shaping within you. An empty field grows weeds without effort, but a field planted with good seed leaves little room for them to grow. That is why I continue drawing you back to my words, to prayer and to the quiet place, not as burdens to carry, but as seeds to plant. There is also a strength I want you to discover, one that many overlook. It is found in the pause. Between what happens to you and the way you respond, there is a sacred space where wisdom is able to enter. You have often reacted quickly when fear rose or pressure surrounded you, and those hurried responses have led you into choices that never reflected the heart I placed within you. But when you pause, even for a single breath or a simple prayer, you create room for me to speak before you act. That brief silence becomes the place where wisdom enters, and better paths begin to unfold. At first, restraint may not feel like strength because the world has taught you that strength moves quickly and answers loudly. Yet think of a city whose walls have fallen. Anyone can enter it without resistance. A spirit without self-control is much the same, while the one who governs his own spirit possesses a strength far greater than outward victories. Each time you choose silence when anger urges you to speak, you are becoming stronger. Each time you wait one day before answering what seems to demand an answer within the hour, you are growing in the strength that truly matters. If faith is alive within you, speak it now. Let this be the moment you say amen with your whole heart. There is another habit I want to free you from. You have spent too much time turning the same thoughts over and over, searching for a certainty this life was never designed to provide. You have tried to understand everything before taking even a single step, and when every answer failed to appear, you became unable to move. Many opportunities for trust were lost because you believed complete understanding had to come first. I am not asking you to set wisdom aside. I am asking you to join wisdom with trust. Walking with me has never meant seeing the entire journey before you begin. My word has always been a lamp for the next step, not a sunrise revealing every mile ahead. Those who refuse to move until the whole road is visible often remain where they are, but those who faithfully take the step I have already illuminated discover that the next step becomes clear in its time. This has always been my way with my children, manna for each day, a cloud by day, a fire by night, and one day's journey entrusted to me at a time. Let me also speak to you about the trust you place in other people. Your heart has always been willing to trust quickly, and that tenderness is not a weakness. It is one of the beautiful ways I created you. Yet beauty flourishes best when wisdom walks beside it. More than once you have given your trust to voices that had not yet earned it, and you have felt the cost of doing so. From this day forward, allow trust to grow slowly. Let it be tested with patience and proven over time. Watch how people live when they gain nothing from you, and listen carefully to how they speak about others when those people are absent. Much is revealed there. Long ago I told you to be wise as serpents and innocent as doves, and those words remain true today. Keep your kindness. Keep your open heart. But let wisdom stand faithfully at its door. You can love people deeply without handing them the keys to your peace. These qualities do not oppose one another. Together they reveal a heart that is matured. And when old accusations return in the quiet hours of the night, when familiar voices begin speaking against you again, answer them with what I have spoken over your life, instead of what fear continues to whisper. Say it aloud if you must. I belong to you. I am called. I am kept. Spoken truth scatters the darkness that silent worry continues to feed. The enemy of your soul has not invented new lies. He repeats the old ones because they once found a place within you. They lose their power the moment you stop believing them. I want you to notice how far I have already brought you. There was a time when one painful word could overshadow your entire day, and one closed door could convince you that every door had been shut. That is no longer where you are. You recover more quickly now. You question the darkness instead of immediately agreeing with it. This is deep and lasting growth, even if few people ever recognize it. The world may overlook it, but I do not. I see every quiet victory, and none of it has been wasted. So continue tending the ground of your heart, my child, because everything you are about to receive will rest upon it. A renewed mind is not an extra blessing for those who follow me. It is the foundation for the road ahead. Guard it carefully. Continue planting what is good within it. Allow it to rest in my presence, and it will carry you farther than your own strength ever could. Now let me speak to you about timing, because much of the frustration you have carried has come from trying to measure your life by your own clock instead of mine. You have longed for answers to come quickly, for healing to happen immediately, and for the fruit of your prayers to appear without delay. When those things did not arrive when you expected, you began to wonder if something had gone wrong, or if I had somehow turned away from you. But nothing was wrong. Fruit gathered before its season is bitter, no matter how eager the one who reaches for it. Some of the things you have pleaded with me to hurry are still ripening, and I love you far too much to place them in your hands before they are ready. My timing is never an obstacle to my promises. It is woven into them. Just as seed and harvest are joined by a season that cannot be skipped, so too are my purposes for your life. No farmer stands over the ground demanding that it grow faster. He plants, he tends, and he trusts the order I established from the beginning. Your life follows that same pattern. There is an appointed time for what concerns you, and it is never late. It arrives exactly when it should, so learn to wait with purpose instead of frustration. Purposeful waiting does not mean standing still in discouragement. It means your hands remain faithful to what is before you, while your heart stays open to what I am preparing ahead. You continue building, serving, growing, praying, and you entrust tomorrow to me. The one who truly trusts does not stand on the shore demanding the tide to come sooner. He prepares his nets because he knows the tide has never once failed to arrive. Now look carefully at the places where you spend your days, the people you surround yourself with, and the conversations that fill your heart. Some of them have drained you far more than you have been willing to admit. You leave certain places carrying more heaviness than when you entered them. You finish some conversations feeling diminished, unsettled, and further from the peace I have given you. Pay attention to that weight. It is revealing where your peace has quietly been slipping away, and it is time to stop ignoring what it has been telling you. You have permission to create distance from what continually drains your spirit. That is not rejection, nor is it anger. It is faithful stewardship. Your peace is a gift, and where you spend it determines what remains for the things that truly matter. When you remain too long in places that trouble your spirit, my voice does not become quieter. The noise around you simply becomes louder. Protect the quiet places where you meet with me. Guard them as something precious. There is something else I want you to release. You've spent too much of your life searching for the approval of others. Too many of your decisions have been measured by how they would appear in someone else's eyes, by who might question you, or by whose affection might grow cold if you obeyed me instead of them. My child, you cannot follow me wholeheartedly while continually looking sideways for permission. The fear of people has trapped you before, and you know how tightly it can hold. Those who walk with me answer first to me, and that answer is enough. You do not owe the world an explanation for every act of obedience. Some of the strongest decisions you will ever make are the quiet ones. The choices made without defending yourself or announcing them to everyone around you. Let people wonder if they must. Understanding may come to them later, or it may never come at all. Either way, the path I have given you remains yours to walk. Remember Noah. He built faithfully in the open while others questioned him year after year. In the end, the rain answered every question they had ever asked. As you continue waiting, releasing, and becoming still before me, remember this: I am working in places your eyes cannot yet reach. Arrangements are being made beyond your sight. People you have never met are being positioned, and circumstances you could never create on your own are already being woven together. This is the work I accomplish in the silence my children sometimes mistake for my absence. When those hidden pieces come together, everything will appear sudden to everyone except me. What is coming will require a steadier version of you, and that steady heart is being formed during these quiet days. Notice the strength that has been quietly growing inside you. It does not need to announce itself. It is the quiet confidence that knows when to move and when to wait, when to speak, and when to allow silence to speak instead. This kind of strength is not created in a single moment. It grows patiently, and so have you. Notice what no longer captures your attention the way it once did. Things that once pulled at your heart have begun to lose their hold. Invitations that once fed your pride no longer carry the same attraction. Arguments that once demanded your energy no longer seem worth entering, and prizes that once appeared valuable have lost their appeal. Do not mistake this change for becoming cold. You are not losing your passion. You are learning where it belongs. This is what a life in harmony with my leading begins to look like. Alignment accomplishes what striving never can. It does not force its way forward or plead for recognition. It flows like a river once the stones blocking its course have been removed. You have already experienced small glimpses of this days, when everything seemed to fall into place, when the right words came at the right moment, and when provision arrived without panic. Those moments were not accidents. They were glimpses of what life becomes when you stand where I have called you to stand. So hold on to your peace during these remaining quiet days, my child. Do not allow the stillness before the change to persuade you that nothing is happening. The deepest works are often the ones no one can see. Winter appears lifeless to everyone except the gardener who already knows what spring will bring. I know what your spring holds because I planted it, myself. No frost, no delay, and no voice filled with doubt can keep it buried beyond the time I have appointed. Stand firm, then, with your lamp burning and your heart free from hurry. What belongs to you is already making its way toward you according to the pace of my wisdom, not the pace of your anxiety. When it finally arrives, you will understand why it could not have come any earlier, and you will thank me for every day you were asked to wait. Now, my child, we come to the place of walking forward. Everything I have shown you tonight was never meant to remain only a feeling. Feelings fade with the morning, but what I have placed within you is meant to become the way you live each day, continuing long after my voice grows quiet. The urgency you felt at the beginning has served its purpose. It awakened your heart, but fear was only the trumpet. It was never meant to become your guide. From this point forward, let clarity become the way you walk instead of fear. Take a moment to understand what has truly happened here. You did not simply hear a warning. You stepped from one way of living into another. You came to me reacting to everything around you, and you leave ready to respond with wisdom. You arrived holding tightly to what burdened you, and you leave with open hands. You came unable to recognize the quiet cautions within your spirit, and now your heart has begun to hear them. That crossing is real, and no one can lead you back unless you choose to return. Yet I will also speak honestly with you. What has been awakened in your heart must be cared for, because awareness can slowly fade if it is left unattended. It will not disappear all at once. Little by little, comfort will invite you back, and comfort can quietly steal what vigilance has gained. The noise of life will return. Familiar routines will reach for you again, and one small compromise at a time, the fog may begin to settle. Do not allow that to happen. What you have received here came at too great a cost to lose through carelessness. Remain watchful. Keep making room for the pause. Protect the quiet place where you and I meet, because this has always been a partnership between us. I will continue to guide you, but you must choose to listen. I will continue to warn you, but you must choose how you respond. I will open doors before you, but your feet must still step across the threshold. I do not move my children as though they were pieces upon a board. I walk beside them, speak within them, and honor the freedom I have given them to choose. Tonight you have done your part. You remained. You listened. Now your obedience continues beyond this moment in the daylight, in the quiet hours, and in the hidden decisions that no one else will ever see. Let me show you how I will continue speaking to you so you will recognize my voice. Sometimes I will come as the deep peace that settles over one path, while another leaves your spirit unsettled. Sometimes I will come as that quiet restraint before the wrong yes leaves your lips. Sometimes I will speak through words that reach you more than once from different places. Often I will meet you in the still, gentle voice waiting beneath all the noise. It may never be loud, but it will always be me. And when you stumble and one day you will do not allow that stumble to become a wall between us. Come to me first instead of waiting until shame has grown heavier. Do not spend days carrying guilt before you decide to pray. The moment your heart turns toward me, mine is already turned toward you. Remember the father who saw his son while he was still far away and ran to meet him. Never forget that it was the Father who ran. That is who I am, and that is who I will always be to you. Your darkest day will never exhaust my mercy, and your longest season will never outlast my patience. As you continue walking with me, carry others gently. Those you love, the people whose names you whisper in prayer before you fall asleep, are watching your life even when they never speak about it. Their choices belong to them, and I am not asking you to carry what only they can decide. Simply walk faithfully, and let your life become the testimony. A lamp never argues with darkness. It simply shines, and the darkness gives way. Do not keep looking back at the road you almost chose. Quiet moments may tempt you to wonder what might have happened if you had taken it, but release those thoughts completely. Lot's wife looked back toward a city that no longer held anything meant for her. In the same way, nothing remains for you on that old road. Your future is ahead of you now, and every glance backward borrows strength from the steps I am calling you to take forward. Hold this day in your heart. You do not need to announce it to the world, but remember it as my people once raised stones of remembrance so future generations would ask what happened there. Something happened here. You heard my warning and you chose to remain. You heard my call and you answered it. In the days ahead, if doubt whispers that I never truly spoke to you, return to this moment. Remember it, and let that remembrance answer your doubts. Now receive my blessing. I do not send my children forward with instruction alone. I send them covered by my care. I bless the work of your hands, and may it flourish in its appointed season. I bless your going out and your coming in. May the path before you and behind you remain under my care. I bless your mind with soundness, your body with strength, your sleep with peace, and your home with quiet joy. What I have blessed no tongue can overturn, and what I protect no scheme can overcome. One more thing I want you to carry with you is this. My presence does not end when these words come to an end. I will be with you tomorrow morning and every morning that follows. I will be with you in the room where difficult decisions wait, in the conversation you have been dreading, and in the step you will take this week that no one else knows about. I was with you before you recognized my voice, and I will remain with you even on the days you struggle to hear me. I am not merely a visitor in your life, my child. I am its foundation, so rise from this moment changed. Walk more slowly than your fear, and more quickly than your excuses. Choose peace whenever it stands beside pressure. Release what I ask you to release without delay. Forgive completely. Trust me each day and keep your lamp burning. The road before you is not empty. It has already been prepared. The one who prepared it continues to go before you, making the crooked places straight. This is my word to you, spoken in love, established in truth, and hid securely in my hand. Nothing I have spoken here will be wasted. Now stand, beloved, and answer your God. If you receive everything I have spoken over your life today, seal it with your heartfelt Amen. This work continues because of the support of those who choose to give. If you would like to help, you can do so by using the QR code or the support link provided in the description. God bless you.